What is going on, guys? Corrosive Bullet here, and today we are going to be breaking down our predictions for the upcoming Set 5 of Dragon Ball Super card game Fusion World. And today we have two special guests. First time we're doing this on one of these videos. First off, we're going to introduce my buddy Alice Bear. What's up, buddy?
What's going on? Glad to be here.
And our second special guest is the one and only TarmoTim. How's it going, dude?
What is up? Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. We've been wanting to get you on for a little while, so yeah,
we're very excited.
Yes, very exciting. So we're going to talk about all of the different leaders, where we believe that they are going to sit in terms of the upcoming meta. Just TLDR, for those that are not aware, we do not do this list in terms of where these guys are going to place in tournaments. This is from the casual perspective. So and it's also just early predictions too. Any of these could change once the meta starts to get going. So once the actual meta drops, you could see a lot of these leaders changing positions. Just keep that all in mind when we go into this. But we'll do our best to kind of talk about where we kind of see them all sit. But you guys ready to jump in?
Yeah.
Sure am.
All right, so I figure we'll start with the red. We'll go through all of red, and then we'll kind of go by color here. So let's start with Starter Coup. And Tim, I'll let you... we'll kind of work together here to see where we kind of place them based off our collective thoughts. But I know you love Starter Coup, so what are your thoughts?
I am the biggest Starter Coup stan in the world. Unfortunately, it's unplayable. I would probably put it in like a locals tier. Like this is the deck I'm probably bringing to all my locals just because I love it so much. But you know, it could go into flex if you really want to push it. But I think it's a locals tier deck.
Okay.
I just don't see why you would play it over like other red leaders. That's why I'd probably put it in locals.
Yeah. David, your thoughts?
I'm probably gonna agree with Tim. I mean, this new set does come out with some like more Universe 7 cards, which only I guess benefits it a little bit. But still, I don't think it's on like Namek Goku level or anything like that. So I'll agree with that kind of locals level.
Yeah, I'd probably put it there as well. I've always seen Starter Coup is probably, arguably, maybe one of the best like pre-release leaders to take for a sealed format.
Yeah.
Just inherently being able to just boost anything on your board offensively or defensively by 5 can come in clutch when you need it to. But I would, yeah, compared to everything else in the format, I think I would say he's probably the weakest red leader in the game right now.
I don't agree with that.
Oh, really?
But unfortunately, he's not great.
Yeah. So yeah, so locals then, I'm guessing. So they kind of put him there.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Okay. U7. So I would probably... I've done a little bit of testing with him with a lot of the new support. I've been really trying to get the whole TN tech to kind of work, and on a very rare instances will you be able to get that new Self-Awakener TN like on board with the 3 cost early enough for you to keep your hand size high. But it has not been something that has worked out in my favor every single time. But I mean, that said, so U7 did kind of get a lot of extra U7 support this set. So I would probably say that once we get this filled out, I think it'll kind of fill out a little bit better. But I think right now, I think he's probably going to be closer to the bottom end of decent. I think just the amount of offensive pressure he can kind of bring to the table, to the foray, will actually help him. He'll be one of those options where like he's blink and you miss it, kind of a thing. And if you're not foreseeing what this guy's able to do, like he can really catch you off guard.
Yeah.
So I got completely rolled by this the other day. Stomped in the face. Opponent just went on turn 3, Kefla into TN into 3 of the 2-drop Self-Awakened TNs, and I just immediately lost.
Oh.
So that was cool. But I do agree with you. I think it is decent. I don't think that's the ideal version of the deck. I think there's a better version that doesn't play the TN package, and it's just like a mid-rangey, slower, just kill you once you awaken type deck. You just like turn the corner later. But I haven't really tried it out as much. I think it has the potential to be strong. I just don't have enough testing. So right now I'll agree. I'll say it's indecent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably put it more in between flex and decent, but more on the flex side, just because from the testing like I've seen, like when you tested it against like the Namek Goku, like it was really close. I think it was like 1 life to 1 life kind of deal. But like your hand was just like dead after like you made your big plays, and then like you had no combo power to survive. So it has some good support, but I think it kind of lacking some draw power, or not draw power, but just you're playing a lot, so you're losing a lot of cards in hand. And
Okay. So all right, so we're probably in between low decent, high flex.
Yeah.
Right now.
That's
Okay.
where I'm putting it.
All right. And like I said, once we kind of get through the other colors and kind of fill this out more, we can adjust stuff as we kind of see fit. So just initial placement's always going to be a little hard when we have when we have 30 plus leaders to go through. All right, so Beerus. David, I'll let you start with this one since he's your boy.
Top tier. No. As much as I love Beerus, he was my go-to from set 1 all the way to set 4. He's going to be more decent flex probably now, just because he goes way too slow compared to the fast aggressive decks that we're getting now, especially like against Janemba. And even last set, like Baby was just face rolling him completely, and it's like the crit aspect hurts him more than anything, and he lacks so much draw power in those early turns that it hurts him in the end game, I think.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. Especially when you have, like Daima Goku, who's basically meeting him halfway in terms of like what he's trying to do. Plus he gets that draw on the front side. I think that probably does slow Beerus down quite a bit.
Yeah, I feel like these crit leaders have all almost just been power crept out of existence. I just don't see me ever wanting to play Beerus over Daima Goku. And then if you want to play a slower red deck, Jiren and UI are just way better. Yeah, I would probably say it's more in the flex category. But,
Okay.
I also hate Beerus, so I'm biased.
Okay. Would you probably say he's better than U7 at this point, or would you say no? You think he's down here?
Definitely not.
Okay.
I think U7 is a little underrated.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, I think I look at U7 similar to like Ginu. Like if you're not careful, like he can just mollywop you.
Right.
And especially going into the next set, like against a Vegito, and you're critting, you're just giving him what he wants.
Yeah,
Card.
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very good, solid point. All right, so Topu. I mean, he's been in my past couple tier lists. He's been sitting in locals for a while. I want to spend a little time with him going into set 5 just to kind of see how all of the tournament of power support that he's gotten the past couple sets, how that kind of helps facilitate him. But him still only having access to 1 Kefla like hurts this guy so much. And while a lot of the tournament of power support that he has gotten is actually really good in other red decks, I don't think it's doing enough to really help Topu out. I would love to put him in flex just because I would like to see him have more time in the sun, but I honestly don't think he's there yet. What about you, Tim?
Yeah, I think this card's just bad. I would personally just put it in Daima Vegeta tier.
Oh, really?
Like, I just don't think you should ever play this. But yeah, I mean, bottom of locals also works. I think it's a fine locals deck. It's just one of those decks where you would never see it at locals because like nobody would play it there because there's just so many other better things to do. That's kind of my reasoning. I don't know.
Yeah, I think people in my locals probably wouldn't even touch this deck just from the PTSD alone.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
This guy traumatized a whole entire player base when he came out. So
Well, it's funny because there's a guy at my locals that plays this deck religiously, and he's actually pretty good with it. I haven't lost with it, but he's actually really good with it. But I'm still on. I agree with you guys that it's going to be on a local level.
okay.
And it's just it. Yeah, it doesn't have the same flair as it did.
Yeah, I'd like to see what your buddy's like build is for this, just so I can mess around with it.
Yeah, there was a couple times I was like, "Ooh, am I really gonna lose to Topu?" But yeah, it wasn't bad.
All right. Then we go to set 3, Jiren. Where do you see this, Tim?
I think Jiren's decent. Yeah.
Decent?
So Jiren's best matchup is now one of its worst matchups. I think that hurts it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still like pretty good against green decks. It's still fine against your other red decks. Just blue has gotten a bit harder, and then yellow is just kind of impossible now. Yeah, I'd say it's decent. I wouldn't put it any higher than that though.
Yeah, I mean, he really didn't get like any support this coming set. So
No.
I think that
Yeah, good
alone,
point.
really hurts him. If he would have gotten at least one card, I think depending on what that card did, it might have been enough to keep him in the strong tier, which is where I think I had him last set. But yeah, I would definitely think that decent is probably correct.
Yeah, I'd probably put him like high flex, low decent. Just kind of with the release of that new Frieza, like it kind of solidified yellow like as an answer to Jiren, and with him not getting any support, it's just gonna make it harder for him to get over the hill.
It's definitely still a deck that can just beat your face in if you're not ready for it.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it could ever be lower than decent. Like I think it is decent. It's the definition of decent. Yeah.
I think especially when you're dealing with blue, which blue is like hardcore like defense in most of its builds. So the fact that red has a single deck that is able to do what blue does, basically, like I think helps him keep him where he's kind of at on this list.
Yeah. Great point.
And I just don't understand, like a lot of people didn't run the Topo card from last set or this new set in Jiren. Like it blew my mind. Like that card is, to me, it's amazing because it basically Jiren just on play and 5K combo.
Yeah,
That card was decent.
I love
It was really good
I
against
love that
blue.
card.
yeah, like in its worst matchups, like that card helped Jiren out a lot. But like I also didn't see myself like playing it all the time either. So it was, and especially since like last set, I think I was playing you, David, and I think I found out that like you didn't even have to swing with Jiren to have the to have his ability proc.
yeah.
It took me like 2 whole sets to figure that out, but I was like, oh, that actually makes it a little bit better. Okay. But moving on, we got set 4, red. So we start with the Son Goku Mini. I would probably say that he's strong. He's like, once again, he's meeting halfway with Beerus in that he's minusing something on your opponent's board. But he's also boosting something on your board +5. There's a lot of cards that just benefit from being at 25,000 or higher in this deck. And so this leader is able to kind of facilitate that to get what you want. Prime example being the 3-cost Droids. Having to be 30, you just put the 5 on him and you meet the 30,000 power condition to get the draw. So that alone like helps this guy out a lot. But that being said, as good as he is, because of how generic of a leader he is, there is, I think, probably one deck that's stronger than it, and that's that we'll get to that in a sec. But what do you guys think?
So I think this is probably the 3rd strongest red deck, but I still think it's very strong. The fact that you get to play Glorio in this deck is crazy. Glorio's an insane card.
Yeah.
But yes, this deck is really good. I'm gonna put it in strong.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I mean, just with the support it's getting, it's only getting better.
Yep. Pretty straightforward. it's these starter deck leaders usually are pretty straightforward. So, next is UI. David, what do you got to say about UI?
Depends on the matchup, I guess. I think in some matchups it can be strong, and like in others versus like Janemba, it's gonna be decent. Just because how aggressive Janemba is, it's not gonna have time to barely get to what it needs to do. So I was between decent and strong. More high decent than strong.
All right, Tim.
So I think this is the second best red deck in the new set. And that's going off of the fact that it doesn't have the worst matchup against the best deck in the format, which we'll get to eventually. So I think it slightly edges out Daima Goku, just because it's a little slower and it's the best secret rare deck, and the secret rare is really, really strong still.
Mm-hmm.
I think this deck's really good. Like, I think it's very good.
Yeah, maybe it's just me, or maybe it's just the people I've been playing against. The UI Goku, I can see a lot of potential with this leader. I know that he's similar to Jiren in the fact that he's super like control-y, super defensive, until you just can't be control-y or defensive anymore, and you have to awaken to rely on his awaken leader ability to really like facilitate what you want to do. But it may just be maybe my matchups, but like I feel like I almost never lose to this guy, regardless of what my matchup into him is. I think it's just when it comes to like wider strategies, this guy gets completely swept. Because the problem I think for me anyway, is that red usually needs to play at cost for the majority of the game. And I think that really just slows down the tempo of what red has usually been known to do, right? Red has always been more of the aggressor between all the colors. And and especially the fact that he doesn't draw on Awakening, and the fact that he doesn't draw when he swings on Awakened side, like, you're just a ticking clock at that point. Like, if you're not able to capitalize on the game in the later end of the game before you run out of cards in hand, like, I feel like this guy tends to struggle. That said, I feel like there is like some stuff that you could do with this deck, like probably not optimal, but I could see you running maybe like Glorio in this deck just to make your opponent's leader more susceptible to the high swings. You don't even necessarily need to get the double swings with Glorio, but you can at least make that kind of work for you. Yeah, I mean, I could see the argument for kind of swapping. I could see him being on the low end of strong. I can also see this guy being a little bit better depending on matchup. Yeah, so I think collectively, I think I'd be fine with putting him like this. He's definitely still a strong leader, though. I definitely, I wouldn't say he's decent, because I think he has the potential to sweep Jiren, but
yeah, I just like him right now because Yellow got really strong, and I feel like it has a pretty decent matchup against Yellow if they're not doing the super wide board thing. Yeah, that's really why I'm having it. I would say it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's where this gets a little bit. That's where it gets a little bit tough when we're like starting to like compound all these leaders together, especially when like all of us probably haven't done play testing for everything, so it's kind of hard to see where everything is going to kind of sit and rest by the time the meta does hit. So, but I could see the argument here. So, and then last but not least for red, we got Daima, Super Saiyan Daima. I'm gonna assume top tier. Everyone's gonna think top tier red.
This leader's cracked.
Yeah. He's really good.
Like, I was really like impressed with what I saw. The fact that like it's interesting because like you have one card, like the thing with this Goku is that he is archetype dependent. Like, this guy is 100% built around the Daima archetype. Last set, it was a little questionable where that was going to go. Now that we kind of see this, like the vision now I can see what Bandai was kind of going with this. And it's crazy because there's only one card in Daima that is higher than a 4 cost. Everything else is a 4 cost or less in this deck. So it is, it's like the ultimate mid-range.
Yeah, this deck lives and dies by Glorio. And Glorio is just such an unfair card that it puts this leader in the top tier. It's so good. The extra, the difference between this and the other Daima Goku is just that extra 5k just really matters.
Yeah.
And I really love that new adventure card because like you can put a Glorio out, and if you have like one or two of those in hand, like you can boost them up and then play the new adventure for free, restand them again, and then play it new adventure again if you have one. It's just like like 2 50k swings.
Yeah, 250k swings, 75k swings. It's just crazy. So yeah, universal acclaim right here with the Super Saiyan Goku.
Yeah, it's good.
Still wish that he was Super Saiyan 2 on the Awakened side, but
Oh yeah.
Yeah, why are we flipping from the same thing to the same thing? Like, what is going on there?
I feel like Bandai's just gonna make a Super Saiyan 2 next set. I guarantee it.
I look at it like, I don't know, like they've been a lot better in terms of like putting out unique leaders that have unique animations at the past like 2 sets. So I think maybe I want to say that maybe this is like a budget constraint. Like maybe they did this because maybe the other animations are going to go off, and they were like, okay, well we only have enough budget for 4 of these leaders instead of 5. So I don't know.
But they also could have just made it normal on the front, right?
Yeah, I mean, it could have been, you know, regular Goku into Super Saiyan Goku if they wanted to do that too. Like that way you could have, it's not sticking to the same transformation. And like
like starter 2 and U7 can start from base to
exactly, yeah.
I'd agree with that. So, all right, let's jump over to the blue archetype. So, starting with Vegeta, Tim, where do you think Vegeta lies?
Vegeta's strong. Vegeta's a good deck. Yeah, Vegeta's a really good deck.
Yeah, I mean, nothing really. Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
What was that?
No, I was saying we can't really beat like the genericness of this leader.
Oh yeah, it's so good, and like there's still like the 7 card thing. Like you still want to do that with some of your cards. That like just getting the extra 15 is so good, and it doesn't require the cards in the drop like Vegito does. I think Vegeta's just gonna be one of the best. It's really good. Yeah, I'll put it in like the top. I think it's better than UI. I'm gonna put it in top of strong.
Top of strong? Yep. Okay.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just all around good. You can't really beat it.
And I mean, I think the one thing too that this Vegeta has over the UI Goku as well is that Vegeta can go to 35, but Goku can't copy it. So that's So if Vegeta has like an empty board at the beginning of his turn and he swings for 35, I think that's a big detriment to UI. So and then we got Trunks. I would probably put Trunks in. I last said I think I had him here at like the bottom of decent. I want to say that he's still probably there because it's not like any of the blue support is like hurting him or helping him. But I think at this point, if I were to maybe make a huge hot take or assumption, I would probably say that Trunks is probably high flex, mainly due to the fact that like his leader ability can only affect 3 costs or lower. And now we're well out of the range of 3 costs or lower in the game right now. Like there's so many good 4 costs, 5 costs, 6 costs that this Trunks can just barely affect. And unless you're going to be swinging with a bunch of like blue stuff that lowers cost just to get this effect off, you're probably just better off like just not in playing other leaders. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
So I haven't tried. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Tim.
I have not tried Trunks yet, so this is purely speculative.
Okay.
But I think it can play the new Goku Vegeta combo thing pretty well. And here's why. So you got your 4-drop Vegeta, right? 4-drop Vegeta plays things from the bottom. You can only play that in Trunks.
Right.
You got Candy Vegito, that goes to the bottom of the deck. You can play Candy Vegito from the bottom of your deck and then get your Goku and Vegeta back to your hand, and they're 3-drops. So when you play them, you can then bounce them back. I think it's a cool idea. I haven't tried it yet, but I would say it's decent. I love Trunks. Trunks is just so generically good that I just love it.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with like decent. He can come up with a lot of cheeky plays, like Pilafing into Final Hope Slash and just doing it over and over and over again. And I think if you have a skillful player who can navigate the deck really well, I think he can be pretty decent.
Okay. Would we say that he's better than Jiren, lesser than Jiren?
I think Jiren's probably better.
Yeah, I think Jiren's better.
Just because Red has great cards.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could see the argument, and it's more. I think it's just more the fact that like based off of the leader skill alone, I think like you're better off using that, like David said, like using it for the peel-off loop, and like even to some of your points there, Tim, you were saying about the new Vegeta Goku combination. Like you can actually bounce either of those back to your hand and preserve.
Yep.
You can either preserve the free 3-cost play of an extra card. You can preserve the 10k combo of the Vegeta if you need it. So I mean that's a fair assumption. Yeah, I think decent is probably he can stay. You can stay, Trunks. It's perfectly fine. Then we'll go to Goku Black. David, you messed around with Goku Black a little bit with me yesterday. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm a horrible blue player, so he was pretty...
That's okay. Goku Black's not a blue deck, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I'd say he's pretty high decent. Just from what I've tested with him. Because he is a crit leader, but he's not going to be a crit leader for very long if you can get a Mai out. And like by turn 2, you can just be awakened. And then like I really like the new Goku Black support for this set. Like you can just play that off 1 energy with a Zamasu on the field. And like I was just testing it against Alex. I had my Goku Blacks, like my 40 Ks on the field like almost immediately. And it was putting on a lot of pressure, but it hurt my hand a lot, like just losing a lot of cards playing on the field. And so I would say he's decent, almost strong.
Okay. I would probably agree with that. He's been like my de facto like flex leader for the longest time. And I do think that like he's got 2 cards of like 2 big like major card support. He's gotten obviously the 3-cost Goku Black, or if you could run it, probably not ideal, but I mean even the new Zamasu, you could even run the Zamasu Fused. You could run in this too, boost up like the Zamasu Fused that draws and can come back 1 time. Like just having that guy go to 30 can sometimes be beneficial. It makes him a little bit harder to remove off board. So I could see that being the case. I think the support he probably needed, he should have came sooner than when it did. But
yeah, that's my biggest problem with it. Like that's the card we got this set. We should have gotten 3 sets ago. And at this point, I don't think it's going to matter at all.
Okay.
I would say this is like you said, this is the epitome of a flex leader. It can high roll you and just like kill immediately, or it can just do nothing all game.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In that regard, so David says high decent. We're both at around flex. Let's do low decent. We'll put him in the low decent spot. Good. Yeah. He'll probably get, depending on what else goes on this list, he might get pushed back down to flex anyway. Who knows? I hate that we're gonna probably be doing this sooner rather than at the end of the blue, but I'm thinking Zamasu might be top tier blue.
This is the best. This deck is so good.
I'm a Vegeta tier. I hate Zamasu. Oh my god. But no, he's definitely top tier.
Yeah, because
this deck is so good. Yeah, it's so good.
like his whole name of the game is play defensive, recur all your stuff from the drop, and just draw like a bajillion cards to facilitate your hand until you have to awaken. And even then, like now, like especially with like this past set, like he's like the fact that like his low hand size once he's awakened, like isn't even all that much of a factor anymore. Like he could still draw cards after he awakens. And now you have like low costed cards in the new Vegeta and Goku package that like now you can just go for game. You're not even reliant on like any like Goku Blacks. You're not reliant on any like Vegitos to really like get you to the end of the game. You could just run that deck at a full mid-range package, and I think I think he's just getting the job done no matter what.
Yeah, so I don't even think you play 3-drop Goku in this deck, the new one. So I've been messing around with this deck a lot, and I think the best version, you actually play 2-drop Goku, the 10K that like bounces anything, and then you can put your 4-drop back. It's just been so good because then Candy Vegito makes it so you never deck out because it just keeps going to the bottom of your deck.
Yep.
And then you don't draw with your leader, so you're not drawing the 2 cards a turn. Like, this deck is just so good. You can play the long game as long as you possibly want to. And then your top end isn't even Vegito. Your top end is the 6-drop Goku Black because you can get that 4-drop, that new 4-drop back.
Yeah.
And then play it off the Goku Black. And it is so good.
Yeah. It's just, it blows my mind how, like, when you're attacking into him, he's just going to combo out and he's going to get that combo power right back. It's like, it's literally just, oh, I'm spending nothing to defend my life.
And I will say too, like, it's kind of nice that like, because like a lot of blue decks were running a lot of like the Vegito package this current set. I think I'm really enjoying the fact for the most part that like now it seems like a lot of blue decks now have a semblance of identity that really differentiates it from other blue decks. So like Zamasu is completely stepping away from Vegito. Vegito is going to be all Vegito. And then depending on what it is you're playing, like you have a mishmash of either or like in every other blue deck. So I think that's great for blue. I think, yeah, like blue has got some really strong cards, and blue could be like maybe an outlier in terms of like compared to the other colors this set. But I think what's nice is that like at least like all of these decks are standing out on their own and not reliant on one thing.
Yeah, I agree. I really like that. I like how everything is just different.
Yep. Well, the set 2 meta's coming back. He's good. He's good again.
Oh yeah.
Halo Ku. Where do you see this, Tim?
So, I have not played with or against Halo Ku in any of my testing yet, but if I were to make a guess, I'd say that it's like at the bottom of strong. Like I still think it's pretty good. You didn't really get anything new, but everything that you already had is still good. So I don't know. I'd say it's still pretty strong.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like I said, like Tim, I haven't tested much against this, and so I don't really have that much of opinion on it going in to the next set. But I just based off what it has, I would say it's probably strong still.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, no Satan City support does nothing for this guy. Which honestly, I don't even think he really needs it because the Satan City package in itself right now is actually still pretty solid. It's still pretty strong, all things considered. He didn't really get any indirect support, which does hurt him a little bit. So I can understand why Vegito would probably be a bit stronger than Halo Ku at this point, just because you could run a lot of the newer stuff in Vegeta, and you're not as restricted to your deck build. And I think that's probably Halo Ku's biggest issue, is that he is restricted to his Satan City package for the most part. Yeah, where would you say that he's? You said he would be bottom of strong.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I think Daima Goku just being able to play Glorio just puts it slightly ahead of cards a deck that didn't really get anything new.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, because even taking that into account, like Key Minus's Halo Ku down by 5, even with the defensive field and using that ability
Yep.
to block a swing, like he still has to combo something out of hand in that regard. So that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that does hurt him a bit. So yeah, I'm down for that. This guy is like really good now, right? Like,
We can just put it in Daima Vegeta and move on.
poor Daima Vegeta. Like, I want to say that I can't like say that
What were they thinking?
yeah, like I can't say that he hasn't gotten support because he has. It's just his leader ability is so restrictive.
Oh yeah,
I don't think I've ever played against a Diamond Vegeta ever.
I've tried it. It doesn't. No, it's not good.
You just auto lose.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Like, I think there's one of two things I wish they would have done differently with this guy. If this is what his ability was going to be, I think they should have just not give him the energy. The requirement of having to pay an energy shouldn't even be there. But
Yes.
but if we're going to keep the energy requirement to use the ability, then I would have at least liked it if he minus something by 1-2 on top of bottom decking.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
like you gotta at least like give this leader a little something to make this ability work. But the fact that you have to commit resources just to even do this effect, and not even just resources for battle cards to lower costs, like you have to pay the energy on top of all that. So it's,
I think it would be playable if it was just pay one, reduce a cost.
yeah, I would have been fine with that too.
Yeah, and it didn't even bottom. I think that would be fine.
Yeah.
Like if Gogeta is able to just, generate a marker by paying one energy, like there's no reason this guy couldn't do the same. So
Exactly.
yeah. All right, so then we go to Gohan. I haven't really. It's really sad because I wanted Gohan to be a bit more prominent than what he was, but sadly he was kind of relegated to being the the testing phase for Vegito, I guess. I mean, his ability is cool, and he wants to be reliant on his extra cards to kind of be able to play, to be able to facilitate his mill and play stuff out of the drop. And if that's your play style, I can understand why that would be fun for some. But just compared to Vegito and what Vegito's doing, I just don't think that he's that. So I would say just because like he's basically running the same setup that Vegito is, but he's just doing it a little worse. I would probably say he's probably flex to maybe low decent. What would you guys say?
That's very generous. I mean, I was gonna put him in locals.
Oh, really?
That's where
I think
was
there's
gonna
like no
put it.
reason to ever play this leader.
No, yeah. Like when you have a Vegito that does it a million times better, like Gohan's just doesn't do anything. I'm with Tim on that one, like locals.
Because I mean, like there's like one thing that this Gohan I think like does like specifically good, and it's the fact that on like turn 4, you use his leader ability, you lower the cost of, I can't remember the extra card, but it's the one that lets you play the 4-cost Vegito
Correct.
for like 3, and then you use the marker and the 1 open energy you have left to then to put this guy back in the drop to play 6 cost like 2 turns early.
Yes, but the issue is, then you're already awakened on that turn, and Blue doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, that's fair. So where are we thinking locals then? High locals?
I think he's better than
Probably, yeah. I mean, the blue cards are just really good, so yeah, I'd say high locals.
Okay. Well, I tried to gas you up a little bit, Gohan. It just general consensus deemed otherwise. So my hands are tied. Then we got the new guy at the set, Vegito. Where do you see this guy, David?
So I don't think he is as scary as everyone initially thought he was going to be, just kind of off some of the testing we were doing. I still think he might be like, I want to say top tier, but low top tier. Like Zamasu's definitely better than him. Arguably, I don't know, you could arguably say he's better than Namek Goku, depending on, I guess, your RNG, but I would still put him at top tier.
So, I would probably. So Vegito I think in terms of he is the most aggressive blue deck, like hands down. There's just no his end turn of potentially 5 40k swings at the end. When you're able to get to that, like there's nothing that's able to really get around that. If that happens. My biggest issue with Vegito is that regardless of how you play this guy, whether you Hyper Awaken, which I've seen some people talk about, playing defensive, which is the way that I prefer to play this guy and just facilitate his energy before you awaken him. His biggest detractor is the fact that he needs to hit 20 cards in order for this effect to go off. So while there's a lot of milling cards in this set that help him to get there efficiently is a whole separate question. And there's times where no matter which way I play, it feels like I'm sometimes just not meeting that that requirement. And especially when it comes to like Super Saiyan Daima Goku, when he's able to get that Glorio out sooner than what Vegito's able to do to facilitate his mill, I can't play defensive in that strat. Like, because that's like, I'm not gonna at that point I am just gonna awaken, and I'm just gonna have to deal with the fact that he's probably gonna be a 20k swinger until I hit that 20. Where I would place him, I don't know if he's top tier when Zamasu exists, so I would maybe put him. I think you can make the argument that he's like, you could flip flop maybe Vegeta and Vegito in their spots here. Where do you think, Tim?
All right. I have watched many Vegito games, and I think I've seen it win one time. I think this deck kind of stinks.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to like it. I really want to like it. Also, I think the decks that I've been seeing are not good. You don't 4-drop Vegito is like kind of unplayable. People should stop playing that card. Yeah, I think this is more decent than strong.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I've probably seen at least 20 Vegito games, and I think I've watched it win one time.
Wow.
And the time I did see it win, it was playing. It wasn't even playing the Vegito strat. It was playing a long game, very similar to how Vegeta plays.
Right.
And it was just not doing the quick awaken stuff. I think that's kind of how you have to play Vegito.
Yeah.
And it's not an aggressive deck.
Yeah, because the biggest thing is like you want those 5 cost and 6 cost Vegitos out by the time he's awakened. So you need to get to 5-6 energy before that can happen. In order to even get that play off, you still need to have 20 cards in your mill. Which, I mean, I guess when you awaken with this guy, he puts 10 in, so that helps quite a bit. But you still gotta get that initial 10. So
to be fair to Vegito, a lot of the games that I've seen were against yellow decks.
Yeah.
And so like maybe that's why. But also I saw it just like get steamrolled by Jiren. I've seen it get killed by like Gogeta. Like I just can't put this in strong. I don't know. It just, man, I want to like it though. I want to like it.
Okay. So, all right. So I was saying high of strong. David was saying low of strong. You're saying potentially top of decent.
I like middle decent. Yeah.
Middle decent.
I think it just kind of. I think it's slightly worse than Jiren, maybe.
All right.
Well, I said top tier, but
you said
that's
top tier. Okay.
But kind of maybe after hearing what Tim was talking about, and I only know from what we tested with it, so I'm willing to change that down to like strong to decent.
Okay. I think.
Yeah, I mean, if we're splitting, I think the end of strong makes sense. If we're just splitting.
Okay. Yeah. Because I would probably argue that because of his heavy swings, that Jiren would probably have a harder time having to deal with it.
I thought the same thing, and then I just saw it get destroyed by a Jiren deck.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. If you have the evidence to back it up, then yeah, I'll definitely I'll believe you there. I'll put it down.
Because all you need is a super combo to get out of his attack for Jiren.
Yeah, but can you? Yeah. It's a matter of can you do that 5 times, if it gets there. But yeah, okay, yeah. I guess we'll see. Someone will figure out the method and.
Yeah, I think the current Vegito decks are not good, and once someone gets a good one, I think it could be one of the best. We're just not there yet.
Yeah,
it's still really early.
Yep, and this is why we're predicting.
Right.
We're just going off of assumption for right now.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're gonna get to green, and I don't know. I don't know. Let's see here. Broly. He got some support here and there. He got dabbled support here and there, but but the problem I think for Broly is that like Red just has way too strong of options at this point for him to really like be relevant. I think Broly is a locals personally.
Yeah, I'd put him top of locals.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I agree.
Like it's just like. I mean, and this is just specifically the red deck, but like you've got Sphere of Destruction, which just puts this guy down to 2 before he even wants to be a 2. You got Glorio, who is basically Glorio in red now, which is basically completely shutting down his whole 25k leader shtick, which is like the only real thing that Broly kind of had going for him for a while. And like the one bit of support that he got was like maybe the artificial moon tech from Vegeta, and then that 5-cost Tierlist that boosts him to a 30k. And even then, like, are you really running those?
Yeah, man, it was so good. This was the boogeyman.
He was
it just
yeah.
he really fell off.
Yeah, I think this guy could maybe surprise you on occasion. Like just from the sheer fact that like you don't think people are going to be playing Broly, but it's yeah, I don't know. He's not.
I just don't think there's any reason to play it over Droids, and that's kind of where we're at. Like 4-cost Droids is such an absurd card.
Yeah. I'm not normally the one that's going to cut in line here, but do we want to just put this guy at the top tier still?
I don't think he's top tier.
No,
really?
I don't think he's either. Yeah, he's not.
No.
The issue with Droids is yellow is probably one of the best colors now, and
yeah.
they just get steamrolled by yellow.
Yeah.
It's still a great deck. Just its worst matchup is now one of the best decks.
That's true. Yeah. Because like I can't.
Yeah, I still think it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I can't. I mean, I'll spoil my thoughts on green early, especially with the new Namek Goku. Like, I don't think there is a green deck that you want to play outside of Droids. It is consistent. It is relatively draw heavy for what it's doing. And it just controls your entire board because of like it's weird because like you can build this deck any which number of ways and it just works. You can play the wide strat, you can play the tall strat, you can play like heavy recursion, you can play like everything that you can possibly do in this game, Droids can do.
And it's crazy. It got like no support too.
Yeah.
I don't think it got a single thing, right?
Good.
Yeah.
And it's still a good deck, but
yeah.
I do think it is the biggest faller out of all the decks. But like that's saying a lot because it was like top.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's still strong.
Yeah. I would still probably put it top tier just because like again, like what other green deck would you choose to run? But that's
maybe
just
we'll
me.
get there.
Maybe we'll get there. We'll see. All right. So yeah, I'll put. Would you say if we're putting them in strong, where would we put them?
Let's put it at the top of strong, and then if we
Yeah.
don't come to a consensus best green deck besides this, we can put it at the end of top tier. I'd say we do that.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he's better than Vegeta. So.
Yeah. Okay. Gohan. Where are we seeing him?
I want to say locals.
Yeah, same. I have a cool spicy build someone sent me, but I don't see it being relevant.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like Gohan in set 1. I thought he was okay in set 2, but like I think whereas blue now, all the blue leaders now kind of have their own sense of identity and how they play. Gohan still feels like it doesn't have one. like you maybe build like a generic green deck around him, and you can make him work, but it still stems from the fact that like there's better green decks, I think, in the game now compared to this guy.
Like when did he get, when was the last support he got? Set 2? Or did he get something in set 3?
I mean, technically he's getting support now. It's just like it's not direct support for him.
Yeah.
Like I think you could run like the 2-cost Krillins that came out this set in them. I think you probably run that card in a lot of green decks. You could probably run the 3-cost Gohan as well, but you gotta consider, combo power when playing that.
Yeah.
Like it's just like the cards that you can run in this guy, like they're not like optimal things I think you'd want to run in them. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what your build is though, Tim.
It's really nothing special. it's like a super like try to awaken type deck using like Kami, not Kami, Guru, and like trying to do that. But it's something I want to try. I just don't see it really breaking locals level.
Okay. Better than Broly, worse than Gohan?
I'd say it's better than Broly, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. I think Broly might be a little better just because of the 25k swing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I could see that.
Okay.
I agree.
Cell. David, what do you think about Cell?
I like Cell, but I don't think I think he's probably still locals.
You think locals?
Wow.
Maybe.
I was thinking more like decent.
Really?
I think.
Wow.
I think. So the thing.
I can never get it to work with Cell. Maybe it's just me and I'm bad, but
yeah. So
I could just never get him to work.
I'm kind of with you. I've never been able to get it to work.
So I like Cell just due to the fact that if Androids is like the relatively more aggressive deck, then Cell is the foil to it, where it's more of the control deck in green. If there's one thing that this Cell is always able to do, it's able to always get itself to that 8 energy mark by using the Cell tech and controlling the board and keeping its life full. I think its biggest issue right now is just that it doesn't have... It's not getting direct support. And I think that hurts it because he hasn't really gotten direct support since set 3, I think.
Yeah.
Which was, what was it? The 8-cost Cell that ramps everything on board?
I think, wait, was that one Cell last set where you can play the
field?
The field off that Cell?
I think that was set 3, yeah.
Okay.
So I don't think he got anything in set 4. The Droids Searcher, I guess, or
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, it's kind of, sort of, yeah. But like outside of that, like he's got nothing this set. So, but that being said, like I don't think he's like amazing by any means, but I definitely wouldn't think that he's a flex. I think that Cell could still like control you enough to the point where like you have to like play around like his board just to an extent. I'd probably put him bottom of decent.
So I would probably say flex.
Okay.
Just like decks have gotten a lot more aggressive, and Cell just really struggles into that.
Yeah.
And this Cell just cannot beat any of the yellow decks like at all. Whereas I think maybe Broly has a better chance, and Broly's in locals. So
Okay.
I don't know. Cell just I've also never really been able to get Cell to work, but I've seen some good versions of it.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, Gingertown's a fun tech. So
Yes, it is.
like if you can get Gingertown to work, like Cell just does really pop off. But but that's once in a blue moon. So top of flex.
Sure.
Or do you think with the support? Do you think with the support that U7 got that he might be? U7 might.
Because I think Beerus is a better leader than Cell.
Oh
Especially-
man, I agree. I actually agree.
Okay. So bottom of flex right now. All right.
Oh, why'd you make me do that?
Just embrace it. Embrace the god destruction.
All right. Now we got our boy Piccolo, Tim.
All right, hot take. I think Piccolo's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the problems that he did have are relatively fixed now.
So I know Cody's really on this leader, and I've seen some really cool builds with it. I have not tried any, and I haven't watched any of this leader yet. I think it's there. Like, you get to do the guru thing, and so this is the leader where you can actually go from 1 life to 4 in 1 turn, and it's just like really stops the opponent from killing you. And it's just incredibly annoying. So you have so this deck wants to play Guru. You play like the Namekian package.
Yep.
And then Guru plays the 5-drop extra. It heals you 2. So you go down to 1 life, you heal 2 to 3, and then you play 6-drop Gohan, and you just heal to 4. And this leader is just, I think it can be really strong.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
And I also like, because what I think is what you did yesterday when we were testing.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, you can basically play the 2-drop Secret Rare Gohan, then Special Beam Cannon, then Destructo Disc, and that's like a 90 crit.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, like we did 2 different matchups, I think, I did 2 matchups against you, David, with this deck. There's one thing that I loved about it, and it's the fact that the 2-cost Krillin is really hard to get around in the early game. Your opponent does not want to KO that thing. In the green matchup, like, you don't want to play Warm Greeting against it because it's just gonna, like, regardless, if you KO it, you're getting something in your energy. If you Warm Greeting it, it's going in your energy. So it's like you don't want to give Piccolo energy at all, because the earlier he gets to 8, the better. But then, like, there was a really interesting scenario in our match. You played Yellow Vegeta, and I was playing this Piccolo, and it was so weird because, like, you were being aggressive, I was being aggressive. You completely shut me down, like, you completely shut me down. I think to the point where, like, I wasn't even at 8 energy. No, I wasn't. I'm getting my games mixed up. I'll just scratch it. No, it was Goku Black you were playing Goku Black, and we were playing hyper aggressive against each other. And I wasn't even at 8 energy, and I was able to come out on top. Just because of that Destructo Disc, just because of the Destructo Disc, like, coming in clutch when I needed it to come in clutch.
Nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, I would say he's definitely, like, a lot better now than what he was.
Yeah, I agree.
Where would we put him though? Like, would he be top of decent, bottom strong?
That's what I was gonna say, top of decent. I just am really, I'm so sorry for all the comments you're gonna get that we're putting Piccolo above Vegito, because everyone loves Vegito right now. But engagement is engagement, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Pile on the hate comments. Yeah, I think Piccolo's good. Yeah, I'm gonna put it top of decent. I would say that.
It's all right, chat. I'll fight you. It's if it comes
What I
to
love
it.
about these videos, it's like, as every other video, it's like all these nice comments, and then when people put out tier lists, it's like, no, you're wrong.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's crazy.
I love the discussion personally. Like,
Yeah.
regardless of whether we have differing opinions, like, I love at least having the discussion. So, yeah, I'd probably put him maybe top of decent at this point. Yeah, you still want to play Droids over Piccolo. So,
Yeah, unfortunately.
it just is what it is. All right, so Vegeta. I really wanted to love this deck. I love that it was so different from every other green deck. But he just there's one card in blue that does completely shut this deck down, and there's, like, he just didn't get a whole lot of support going into set 5.
That card's bad.
Yeah, that card's bad anyway. Like, it shuts it down, but, like, it's just a bad card. I would maybe, though, I do know that there are people out there, especially on the client, that still run this guy, and I think he is a leader that can surprise you. And with the little bit of support that I think he probably got this set, I think it's reasonable to believe that he could probably be a flex option to a degree. But but I think that's personally just me. What do you guys think?
Bottom locals. That's
Oh, that's so mean.
I've just never had an issue with Vegeta.
Yeah, same.
Like he's never made me go oop, like oh, like that's worrisome. But that's just, I guess that's just from my experience.
And I guess I'm also not taking into account that the yellow now has like really good removal at this point. Final explosion pretty much handles everything in the Vegeta deck.
Yeah.
Unless they have the Gohan on board to protect his 3 costs, but even then, like you could still play the secret rare Frieza and just pay 2 to get rid of that Gohan. Okay, yeah, Tim, what are your thoughts?
Pretty much everything you guys have said. I really want to. It's another one that I really want to like. I just don't see it breaking a flex option.
You're not even like breaking into flex.
No, I think it is a flex option.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't think it'll break out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like middle flex. Put it above Beerus because I hate Beerus.
Yeah, we put Cell below. We conceded and put Cell below Beerus, so we'll.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, there's the balance. There's the balance. All right, and then finally we got Namek Goku, and this will probably be my hot take personally. I still don't think this guy is better than Droids.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. So I've played against this deck a lot, and I agree with you. I think it's really good though, and it's really fun, and I love that it's different. I don't think I've ever lost to it, but I've always come close to losing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that says something.
Yeah. Go ahead, David.
I think he has the same problem Goku Black has. Like either you see your pieces or you don't, and if you don't, you're gonna lose.
I think there's a hybrid issue here. I think it's just like you said, Goku Black. I think you're heavily RNG dependent to see if you can find your pieces to be able to play like his good stuff early. I also think that he has the UI issue, where he has the UI issue where like he doesn't draw on swing. He loses a decent chunk of draw power. He's got a lot of stuff that can help facilitate his draw, but it feels awkward to kind of play him on occasion. And in wide strategies, I feel like he can just be trounced depending on how wide you're able to go.
Yeah.
The only bit I've messed with this guy, and it's a really hard deck to pilot. Like
Yes.
I've tried the hyper awakening aspect, and while I see the through line with that particular play, I don't feel like that's the play style that I personally like to go for. I found that the draw engine, I know a lot of people don't like the draw cards in this particular deck, but
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
but I think it's just the fact that you can play those cards for cheap for 1, 2. Like if it was a fact that like this deck is heavily reliant on the secret rare, obviously. I think if it was the fact that you had to hard cast the secret rare and like the cheating out aspect like didn't even exist on the secret rare, like I would say that yeah, like the draw stuff in this deck is bad to play. But the fact that you can just play this guy for 3 at 2 life, be able to get yourself back up to 3 whenever, and then you still have like 4 open energy to either do something control-y with the board, remove something off board. You can play the draw stuff to re-facilitate your hand to play on the defensive if you need to, and then next turn go into more of a wider strat to kind of play. Like I don't know, like it just feels. It feels like a lot of these green decks the past couple sets where like it's missing a couple things for it to really help the deck out. But that's just me.
Yeah, so I just played against a version of this deck earlier today. Shout out to Annie-Air. He had Days of Training in his deck, and it was really cool. If I was not Zamasu, I would have been dead.
Yeah.
Just because I was a 25k leader. But yeah, I think there are some cool versions that you can do with this that maybe by the end of the set it will be in top tier. I just don't think we're there yet.
Yeah. And shout outs to Anair, by the way, because yeah, I played the exact same deck that you played against.
Yeah,
his
okay,
deck
cool.
yeah, his deck is really good. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
and like a lot of what he's doing with that is the draw stuff. It is like basically cheating out the Days of Training. Or wait, no, I haven't even played his Days of Training build yet.
Oh, it's good.
Oh crap. Okay,
It's good. Yeah.
I'll have to ask him about it then.
Also, I have seen. I think it was I watched him play a different time where he awoke at like turn 3 or 4, and then like went between 2 and 3 life for like 8 turns in a row, and it just dominated the whole game. So
Yeah.
like the deck can do that.
Yeah, but heavily matchup dependent, probably, right?
Yeah, I would say so. So let's move droids up to the end of top tier at this point.
Yeah. Where
Yeah,
would you
so
where
let's-
would you
let's
put
do that.
where would you put Namek in strong?
I would put it above UI,
Yeah,
below Vegeta.
above
Yeah,
UI below.
yeah, I'd say that.
Okay. Yeah, I'd agree with that. We got to have one color up in top tier to kind of facilitate what the best color deck in each color is. So yeah.
Could we possibly have 2 in top tier, or is that not a thing? Because we might get there.
I think depending on the argument, I think we could probably do it. But,
Okay.
But
Okay.
let's see.
Okay.
All right, so let's get to yellow. I think we all kind of want to talk about yellow at this point. But
Yes.
Frieza. So I've done a little bit of testing with the new support for Frieza, and there are some really cool things you can do in Frieza now.
Oh yeah.
The fact, like, my favorite play that I think I've done so far is the 5-cost Mecha Frieza into the new King Cold card into the secret rare. And it is so aggressive, and you're losing a lot of hand advantage by doing this, but by playing 3 cards on the same turn, like, your opponent has to do something to contend with that board. And one of those cards you can't even interact with except in battle. So it's like, your opponent really has to kind of focus on that aspect of this deck. I will say that Frieza is not Janemba. So the secret rare Frieza on occasion does feel a little awkward to play. But at least with the King Cold strat, like, you can at least like get the swing off of it and have it feel good and not have to rely so much on the removal. But in terms of using that effect, I feel like that is a little awkward. But and then you also you have more 2-cost options now that you can play off of the field. So the field's actually, I think, viable in Frieza at this point. Like, basically you're playing Frieza with a wider strat, and you're just protecting your secret rare and like something else on your board every turn. And I think that just feels pretty strong. What do you guys think?
So I've seen 2 different versions of Frieza. There's like the normal version, and then there's like the Ginu Force version.
Mm-hmm.
I think the normal version is slightly better. And I think one of the best cards Frieza got was the 1-drop Frieza that like taps and you can look at the top 3.
Yes.
I think that card's really, really good. But it does, it just can't beat the new Daima Goku. We've done that matchup a few times, and Daima Goku just kind of steamrolls it, whereas other yellow decks can beat that deck. However, Frieza, really, really good. I would say like mid-top strong.
Mid to top strong. Okay. David?
Yeah, that's what I would say. I think deck's really good.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Because Frieza, like, the past couple sets have been like at the bottom, and then just now it's just got so much good support that it just shot up. I'll agree that the secret rare feels a little weird to play it in there. Maybe just like a 2 of, because like just because there's gonna be other things you're gonna spend that energy on, rather than spending the 2 to tap the secret rare. And it does have a lot of combo problems, I feel, just from off the testing with Alex. But I would agree that it definitely shot way up, and it's probably a good strong deck now.
Just like when he became Mecha Frieza, he got new legs. So it's
Exactly.
yeah, I'd probably would he be better than UI, do you think?
I'd say so, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, better than Namek Goku?
I don't know.
I'd put him behind. I'd say just right behind him.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, for right now.
I'm good with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Cooler, I think, got the biggest glow up.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't
Love Cooler.
I wouldn't say he's strong because obviously being a crit leader like hurts him a little bit. But he got so many tools this set that like he was at the bottom for the longest time. I put him in locals the past 2 sets just because like there is some interesting tech you could do with it and it's a fun deck to play. But now I probably think that he's probably on the higher end of decent, probably maybe mid decent.
I can't put him above Vegito.
I don't know if I would say he's decent. He seems more like a flex.
Oh, really? Okay.
It is the only yellow deck where you can attack with a secret rare twice in a turn.
Yeah.
Where you can like if you have the extra mana or energy, you can like get rid of 2 things with the secret rare in a single turn, which is really cool. But every time I've seen this deck played, there's like they just completely run out of gas turn 5.
Yeah.
And then they can't close out the game. That's the biggest issue.
Yeah. I think, and it sucks too because he's a crit leader on the front side, which hurts him, so he's losing that draw power there. And just to get the restand, like you do have to discard a card every turn, so like you're already like losing hand advantage, so now you're giving more hand advantage. And then if you're taking into account the King Cold strat of being able to play something out for free, like you're incorporating more 0 combo stuff into the deck.
Exactly.
So it's I can bring him down below. So yeah, I'd probably put him. Would you say he would be on like the higher end of flex, or would we say more mid?
I would put him above Vegeta, below U7.
Below U7. Okay.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah, I think that's fine. He's out of the terrible tiers, guys. So at least he's got that working for him. Ginu. I wish I could give him the benefit of the doubt. Like I think some of the Ginu support that he got this set is better than what he currently has. Like Jice being a 2-cost that's crit, that's going to go a long way in Ginu. Having the 2-cost Raccoon that can be played off the 3-cost, and he can go to 25 to hit 25k leaders. I think that's valuable. But I still think that he's just like Goku Black. He is like the epitome of a flex deck. If you're not careful, he can steamroll you. But I think the support that he got this set, while it is better, I don't think takes him out of the flex tier personally.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably put him top of flex, probably.
Sure. That sounds right.
Okay with that.
All right. We got Yellow Vegeta. I think if it wasn't for one other deck this set, I think he would probably be top tier.
So this is what I was talking about earlier. I think this deck is top tier.
Really? Okay. Explain.
It's really good. Yeah, this deck is really strong. It doesn't get to use its extra 2 on the on your own turn, but being able to use it defensively is still very, very good.
Yeah.
And the new extra you got, I'm so bad with card names, but like the one that makes it so they can't attack again.
Rakshasa.
Yes, the weird name. Yes,
Yeah,
that's it.
Rakshasa. Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah. And like you could run a lot of the new stuff in this. Like you can run the 3-cost Janemba and play your energy more effectively on
3-cost Janemba is an absurd card.
Yeah,
Yes.
that goes in. I think that card goes in every yellow deck personally, but
I think so too.
but
Dazzling On works pretty well in that.
Dazzling Onslaught's great. Like those are really good defensive cards that this deck obviously thrives on. Bio Broly you can play out because he still replaces himself, and then gets 2 energy back. So like that's really good too.
And this is like the only deck where you have like 12 plus super combos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's more than blue.
Yeah. I think this deck is really, really good.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put him up there for now. I might have slightly differing thoughts, but I think you can make the argument either way, but we'll get to there. Do you have any thoughts, David?
Yeah, I would say either top of strong, low of top tier. Just from the one match I did test with them, I felt like I was never on the back foot, and
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Yes.
Yeah.
It just feels like you can't lose half the time.
Yeah, because you got like the Bulmas that'll bring back any one drop or the two drop extra cards, and then you got just so many other extra cards and other cards that are gonna bring back your energy. It just feels right.
Okay. Yeah. Fat Boo.
Fat Boo feels like a Diamond Vegeta.
Yeah, almost. Because it's something that can do it better.
Yeah, I mean, I think this deck got better with a lot of the Boo support from this set. And like now in like especially with the new support or that support, now you have like a through line where like you now have options to play aggressively, and then you have cards that you play off of his leader ability at the end of your turn defensively. I think that's like the whole gimmick and shtick of what this guy wants to do. The problem with that being, though, is that because his leader ability is restrictive to, what is it, Evil Wizard and whatever the Yamu and like Spopovich cards are, I can't... you're playing Evil Wizard or...
Yeah.
It's not
what's the other
brainwashed.
one?
It's... I can't think of what it is.
I also can't think of it, but yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Wicked Soul.
Wicked Soul.
Yes,
Thank you. Yeah, I think just having that restriction, I think, makes this guy worse than obviously the other Boo. So I would probably put him in locals.
Okay. That sounds fine.
The
I
bottom
think it's
local.
better than Top Coup, honestly. So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I'd probably say he's better than Topu. Just because Topu doesn't really have the aggression to go into his defensive like plays.
Right.
So I'd agree with that. David?
I feel like I think Top 2 might be a little better. Just because it has so many better red cards in the deck that he can utilize. And that Boo is kind of just really restricted to its Wicked Soul.
It is restricted, but Boo can still just slam 4-cost Secret Rare and win the game out of nowhere. So.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. And
I'm fine with him.
yeah. And if you get multiple 6-cost secret rares too, like, which is one of the strats that I've seen this deck use particularly, like, I think that shuts down a lot of what red does too. So
Yeah, I saw that a lot last set, and I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it either. So yeah, I'd agree. I'd probably put him above Top Go at least.
Okay.
Then we got Majin Buu Evil. I mean, he's still strong. He's still a good contender.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This leader's really good.
Like, I wish the one card that he did get in set 5 was a little bit better, and you could maybe utilize that card's effect to a better extent. But I'd say he's still a contender for one of the better leaders in the game.
I agree.
I'd put him above Frieza even.
Yeah, I would definitely. Well,
I don't know about that.
that one I might actually have to like think about because I'm not 100% sure.
I think they're close though. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I think you could probably make the argument for either or.
Maybe.
But I don't know. It's like if
That's
I'm
something I have to check that out, kind of testing to see what. would be
This
better.
is kind of a product of the new cards came out and we all want to play with the new cards, and I
Yeah.
just haven't played with Super Boo. I think that's where we're at.
yeah, I think when you're comparing the two of these, like especially with the support that Frieza got, like I think the main question stems to be like which one of these two decks is able to play the aggressive side better. Like we know that Frieza has like blockers in his toolkit, which is something that Boo doesn't have. But so we can't really compare the two because of that particular feature. But in terms of like spamming cards onto the board for free or for cheap, would Frieza be able to outpace that? So I guess
I don't have an answer. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we got Janemba.
Okay.
So I mean, you made a really good argument for Vegeta. So if you're saying that there's potentially 2 top tier,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
this is the most busted leader I have ever played against.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I don't know what they were thinking. This is like Topu levels busted, and I think it may be better than the best Topu deck we played. The set hasn't even come out yet. I'm already sick of playing against this leader. Honestly, it's really fun to play with, but the entire time you're playing, you feel like you just cannot lose the game. It's
Yeah.
like you win, like you've won the game by turn 2, and the opponent also already knew. But we got to play the rest of the game out. It's way too good.
Like
I'm gonna agree with that.
yeah, like I was thinking he was probably the best deck in the game with his release. Just the sheer fact that like it's the fact that on turn 4 you can play the new secret rare. You can get 2 energy back to immediately use the board removal on that.
What were they thinking?
It's the fact that you don't have to necessarily draw with leader, but it's an option that you can always, that it's an option. And then on top of paying the 2 to draw, you're also resting something like with no restriction.
You're resting anything.
Anything.
Anything. Why? Why did you put that on a leader? Also, you don't have to attack to draw. Like there's so many times you can just completely grind the opponent out. If they play any battle card, they play a battle card, you pay 2, tap it, draw a card, attack leader into the battle card, and they're just like down a card. What were they thinking?
Yeah, and he's basically playing the 5-cost Bio Broly for 1.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which is just insane to think about.
Zangia, however you say it, is an absurd card in this deck.
Yes.
The deck also plays like 25 10Ks.
Yes. Like it's a lot better defensively than what Super Boo was doing this set. Yeah. Go ahead.
And like you have like 6 energy, like that's 2 Bio Broly's out, and then 1 energy left over. It's like you're 10 energy worth of cards and 1 turn for 6 energy. It's crazy.
Yeah, and 3-drop Janemba is just an absurd card as well. I think that may be the second best card in the set after Frieza, but like it's so good in this deck too. Like why did they give this deck everything?
Like this is literally the deck that defines like power creep. Like if this set if this game was going to get power creep in any way, it was because of the introduction of this. Like if leaders don't have like this level of like absurdity going forward, like I don't know what we're doing. So it's
I think what's going to happen, this has to get banned.
You think this will be the first banned leader?
I'm already there. Yeah, I'm already there. This is too good.
I don't want to necessarily say it right away because more or less I don't want to hear the flack from chat later about it.
I welcome it.
Because people were saying the same thing about like Baby last set, but like I never saw Baby as being like that like overly ridiculous either. So
yeah, there's no way.
Like I don't know. Like
this is not the same as Baby. Like in testing, Baby was good, but it wasn't like this. It wasn't oppressive. This is oppressive.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would probably say he's top tier. Absolutely. And you know,
bad matchups. Sorry.
No.
For Janemba, bad matchups for Janemba, and this is why I had Vegeta in top tier as well. Vegeta is like the only other 50-50 deck against Janemba.
Yeah.
Everything else just straight out loses.
Okay. No, I can understand that and see that. So obviously Janemba would be number 1, but in terms of Vegeta, where would we place? Would we also place it above Zamasu or?
No. I think like so Zamasu, Daima, and are probably just like better overall decks than Vegeta. Just Vegeta's still good. The thing is like Vegeta just does its thing really well, like the one thing it's trying to do really well.
Yeah.
and it has a 50-50 matchup against Janemba. That's kind of why I'm saying it's top tier. Whereas like Daima and Zamasu, I haven't been able to beat Janemba with them.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can see the argument that Vegeta is like just from the amount of like freezing that he's able to do, the amount of recursion and defensive utility he has. I can see why he would outpace the droids at this point too. So.
Yeah, the biggest problem though is like 5-cost Vegeta. That's a good card. Frieza just gets rid of it.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a mistake. That should not have been okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's the yellow matchup. So let's finally get down to black. So we'll start with Bardock. I mentioned this over on your channel, Tim, but
Yeah.
black is easily it's easily my favorite color, mainly just due to the fact that just about every leader that I am I'm playing is a deck that I played in Masters.
Oh, okay. I see.
Like I played Bardock's crew in Masters, I played Baby in Masters, and I played Gogeta's in Masters. The only other deck that I haven't really played that hasn't been introduced yet is Bojack. So that's probably coming in yellow, but that's neither
So
here.
I played Masters for like 2 weeks. Back when it like in like set 3, I think I tried it, and I also played Bardock's crew stuff, and I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. Sadly though, I don't think Bardock is at the place where he is in Masters. He got 1, maybe 2 cards of support this set. The one card that really helps him out is the new 5-cost Bardock.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just having a new 5-cost that you can play the combo game a little more efficiently than the double striker, I think is perfect for what he needed. And then I guess you can argue that you could maybe run the Super Saiyan 3 to an extent, like maybe 1 or 2 copies if you wanted to play extra aggressive.
Yeah, it's just tough to find room in the Bardock deck.
But I still think Bardock could still potentially like surprise people. I think Bardock might be top of decent, maybe bottom strong. Because he's still probably the most consistent black deck. Maybe Gogeta replaces that title, but
That's kind of what I was going to say. Like, it feels more like a flex deck because it's very like, I don't want to say combo dependent, but it kind of feels more like a combo deck.
yeah.
But I think like bottom of decent also makes sense. It's a hard one to rate because you don't see it very often.
Yeah, because I think we can't undersell his 25k leader swing. That's the
true.
one thing, and then being able to just scry your deck and seeing like if it's something that you need in that moment, and if it's not, you just bottom deck it. Like not even taking the comboing aspect of him in. Like I want more Bardock's crew support to facilitate that. That would be great, but just being able to scry the top of your deck to find your pieces more efficiently, I think is also something that can't be understated either.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm with you.
Yeah, like if he had just a little bit better Bardock's crew support, this guy I think would probably be up and strong. But it's just the fact that he's gotten very little since his release.
Yeah.
I'd say it's probably bottom of decent.
Okay.
I just like Tim was saying, like you don't see it a lot, and yeah, I've never really played Bardock either, but it never felt like it was that much of a problem.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah. Okay. Super Saiyan 4, Tim, what do you think?
I really like this deck.
Yeah.
It's really fun. This deck is so close to being able to beat Janemba. Like it's really, really close. The promo Goku, the 4-drop, the one that makes the marker,
Yeah.
Yeah.
really good card now.
Yeah.
It's like just good enough to like push that last damage in. I really like this deck. I think it's probably the best black deck right now.
Oh.
So I would put it at the bottom of top tier. I think it is I think it might be the best black deck right now.
I can agree to an extent, just because Super Saiyan 3 Goku exists. And
Yes.
like
Super Saiyan 3 Goku is an absurd card.
yeah, I can agree to that to an extent. I would maybe argue that Baby is still better. But I mean, we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I mean, no, I mean Goku is really good, really strong. He has no need to run the double striker anymore. Since he has Super Saiyan 3.
Thank God.
And then like you said, the promo card being able to just generate a marker to then facilitate your turn 5 play just a little bit better with that card, and then the fact that you can just build this, you can boost this guy up. You can boost him up to 45, it's a double 45k swing with him. Everything that this guy, everything this guy's done, like since his release, like he's been consistently good since his release. So yeah, I could definitely attest to him being one of the better, if not the best, black leader.
I think this is the deck where I have the most reps with out of any of the decks right now from the new set, like with testing, with all the new cards. I've played this deck so much. And it's so good against a lot of decks. It just that Janemba is tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see Baby being slightly better. I just personally I like the play style of Goku better. But they're very similar.
Yeah. So I only say that Baby is just better because you're able to do two different things with this deck. Baby in a way is kind of similar to androids in the sense that you could build him a number of ways and it can be pretty consistent and worthwhile regardless of how you build him. You can build him the aggro way with all the Rildo support and be able to play that hyper aggressive like means of doing it. Me personally, that's not the way I like to play him. I've always played Baby with the mid range in mind. Constant draw power with the secret rare. And the fact that he's gotten two really good support pieces this set. He got the new 3-cost Baby that's just able to cycle your hand with draw 2 cards, discard 1.
Yeah, that card's pretty good.
And then he got a new Self Awakener that's just able to draw a card on rest.
Yeah,
and
Bulma's very good.
Yeah, and then you can just combo them off like that. That's like the perfect foil piece to the SR Super Baby 1 card. I feel like Baby might just be a little bit more consistent with a better emphasis on the draw than what Goku's able to do. I think the Goku, like he got the new Super Saiyan 3, which will help facilitate the draw, but like Baby's doing that every turn.
Yeah, I also think Baby is still playing some number of Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah, I think it's another additive piece to the deck.
Yeah.
I would probably argue I'm probably taking the double striker out of this and putting the Super Saiyan 3 in Baby as well.
Yeah, same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are pretty interchangeable. I'm fine with either way, whichever one you want to do.
Okay.
In top tier, and then the other one in like
top of strong. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think you could interchange. And then we got the would underdog be the right word? I would say underdog of the set. Yeah. Why don't you guys go ahead and talk about them? I'll give my thoughts at the end.
I have tested this deck a ton. Like a lot. And it is really good, but it just can't beat any yellow deck. And that's its biggest problem.
So I've only tested it with Alex, so I guess I don't have a lot of like variety in people who've to test it against. But I feel like it's a good matchup against Janemba over Super Saiyan 4 just because of like Soul Punisher. And Super Saiyan 4 has like a little more difficult time getting that energy marker, and if you don't see anything that's going to give you an energy marker, you're going to have a harder time getting rid of those Bio Broly's and his other troublesome cards. But like Gogeta can just be like, oh, I'm just gonna make an energy mark real quick, and then I can just remove 2 cards off the field.
So
But
I thought the exact same thing, and the opposite turned out to be true.
Really?
Yeah. The issue with Gogeta is you can't push that last damage in like Goku can. And you don't want to deal with board against Janemba. You just have to kill them before they kill you.
Okay.
Because they have these Friezas that you just can't deal with.
That's true.
And Gogeta just had a bit more trouble getting that last damage than Goku did because Goku can add 15 to something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
But I still think Gogeta's very good.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I haven't tested Super Saiyan 4 yet, so you're probably right on that aspect.
Weirdly enough, I think Gogeta is probably in the same boat as the baby and the Super Saiyan 4. Like, I agree with you, Tim, that Super Saiyan 4 is just able to capitalize games better than Gogeta's probably is. But at the same time, like, the draw power that Gogeta is able to do is just a lot better than Super Saiyan 4's as well. Just being like, he's doing the exact same thing that you want to do in that. You want to cheat out the secret, like the secret rare, on turn 3 to get that early draw going. To play the Super Saiyan 3 as early as possible, getting the extra draws from that. But at the same time too, I guess like he's also not drawing a card on Awakening either, which is still just a weird decision to me.
He should he 100% should have made a marker on Awaken.
Yeah. But I do agree with David in the sense that like Soul Punisher is just a better removal card for Black, and Gogeta is able to facilitate that a lot better, or at least from initial discussion. I think it was. I would have seen that he was better, but
in a lot of my testing, Soul Punisher felt really trappy.
I can see it.
And 10 times Kamehameha came in clutch like every game.
Like,
so it's very possible we're playing like the correct builds, correct in quotation marks, is going to be like 3 10 times and 2 Soul Punish. But we don't know yet.
Yeah.
It just has always felt really tough because the Soul Punish turn, you're not really doing anything else, and you're not applying more pressure, and that's kind of what you have to do to win the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with that to an extent. I assumed like upon initial reveals of some of the Black stuff that there would have been something in Gogeta's deck that would have lowered cost.
Yeah.
Like I figured there would have been something that would have lowered like Soul Punisher down to like 2 or something. Like, but it was like
that would have been cool.
Yeah, but like it would have been like a very hyper specific condition to be able to do that, or like I don't know. Yeah, I'm okay with putting Gogeta below Super Saiyan 4, I think.
If we get any more Otherworld cards, though, this deck's going to be great.
Oh, yeah.
Right now I'm playing with the Otherworld package, and it's really, really strong. Pycon's such an absurd card.
Yeah, I can see it. So, all right, well, that is the entirety of the list, and we've been going for over an hour and a half. So...
Oh wow!
So I think, Tim, you might have to, you and I might have to work together here. We might have to devise a means for the content creator community to like, what's our approach going to be going forward with these tier lists? Because like the more cards that get introduced, the longer these are going to get. So,
yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, that was a long one.
Yeah, so I think we might have to sit down one of these days and actually like think of a plan before set 6 comes out.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's the list, guys. Let us know what you guys think down below. Do you agree with this? Is there anything that you would change here? I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with this. I think this is pretty cohesive.
Yeah, good early predictions.
Like it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Tim, before we go, where can everyone find you?
I am TarmoTim on YouTube and Twitch.
All right. Yep, we'll have those down in the description below. But yeah, thank you guys all for coming and hanging out with us for this very long-winded discussion video. And until the next one, we'll be seeing you. Peace.
Hey guys.
Peace.